Welcome to the tutorial for the LowStressLife Biweekly Paycheck Budget Spreadsheet. Firstly, thank you so much for purchasing this spreadsheet. I hope you'll have a lot of fun using it and also that it really helps you on your journey to better finances. There is also a full written tutorial in the PDF guide. Let's get started. You can access your spreadsheet by going to the first page of the PDF guide and clicking the link with your preferred date format. This will take you to Google Sheets, where you should click File on the top left menu and then Make a copy. This will allow you to save your own version of the spreadsheet. Now that you have your spreadsheet ready, let's look at each of the tabs. There is a tab to set up your spreadsheet, a tab to prepare your budgets and goals, a tab to view your paycheck and recurring payments in a monthly calendar, a tab to keep track of all of your day-to-day expenses. There are also 3 tabs to input the actual data of your 2 or 3 paychecks of the month, as well as a tab to analyze the overall view of your monthly finances. The next month's tab contains a checklist to follow to prepare for next month's spreadsheet. Before we start using the spreadsheet, we will create a template that you can reuse every month. This will make life a lot easier, as you will not need to fill in every part of the spreadsheet over and over again each time you use it. And I will explain how to do this a bit later on in the video. Before we create a template, here are 3 very important recommendations to ensure you get the most out of this spreadsheet. Firstly, please only fill in the cells with a colored background. That means this set of cells, these cells, and these cells. All of the other cells and graphs are automated and there is no need to change them. You'll actually get a warning if you try to change one, so just click on Cancel to continue. Secondly, please do not cut and paste any part of this spreadsheet. Simply copy and paste the data and then erase the initial data if necessary. Cutting and pasting will cause problems with the spreadsheet's automated calculations. Please also avoid adding or deleting rows, as this can also cause problems. Now, let's move on to using your spreadsheet. To create the template, let's first fill in some of the information that you will have to change each month. Choose your month and year, as well as the rollover amount, which is the money you have left over from last month. For me, it will be $735. Then write the day of the month you will receive your paychecks. This will help you visualize in the calendar when your paycheck arrives. Payday 3 is optional, as some months you receive 3 paychecks instead of 2. Now let's fill in the information that will not need to change every month. Write down your currency symbol here. It will update across the whole spreadsheet. For the calendar, you can choose to start your weeks on a Sunday or a Monday based on your personal preference. Now we will set up our transaction categories, starting with our income categories. You can screenshot or pause the next 2 slides for category inspiration. Now, for some fun, you can customize your spreadsheet by matching an icon from the icon library on the right to each income category. This will then update automatically throughout the spreadsheet. Simply select a cell with an icon in it, copy it by using Ctrl+C, then select the cell next to your category and paste it in with Ctrl+V. This setup process is the same for the remaining recurring bills, debts payoff, variable expenses, and savings categories, with a few small differences. For the recurring bills and recurring debt payoff categories, you will also need to write down the day of the month the bill is due. You do not need to order the bills by due date. The spreadsheet will automatically order them for you across the rest of the spreadsheet. In the case your bill is to be paid more than once a month, for example a bi-weekly rent payment, please write down 2 categories for the same bill, for example rent 1 and rent 2. For the variable expenses and savings, the spreadsheet will not automatically order each category, so I recommend starting with the categories you feel are the most important or frequent, for example, retirement and savings. With that done, let's move on to the next section that is important for your template, the Budget tab. The most important part of this tab is the summary at the top. It shows the amount left to allocate from the expected income towards all of the other types of transactions: bills, debt payoff, variable expenses, and savings. The goal of the budget is to allocate all of your planned income to different transaction categories across recurring bills, debt payoff, variable expenses, and savings. This will bring the amounts left to allocate at the top of the sheet to 0 and they will turn green when this happens. So first, fill in the planned rollover from last month. The amount is positive as we are adding the rollover money to paycheck 1. Then you can write the income amounts for each category. I expect to receive $2,745 for my first and second paycheck. I also have a side hustle. I estimate I'll make $205 during paycheck 1 and a further $405 during paycheck 2. For the bills section, you will see that the bills in the table are now ordered by their due date. You can also choose from which paycheck you will take money to pay the bills. You can look at the date reminder in the summary at the top to check when you'll receive your paychecks that month. Follow the same steps for debt payoff, variable expenses, and savings. Now let's check if we have properly allocated all our expected income for the month. I can see I still have $207.56 to allocate from paycheck 1. And I have over-allocated $165.98 of paycheck 2. This is easily fixed. I simply go back to the income section and take out $207.56 from paycheck 1. Therefore, I use a negative number, and I can see the spreadsheet automatically updates by adding this amount to paycheck 2. I now have an excess of $41.58 for paycheck 2, and I will choose to roll it over to next month's paycheck by writing the negative of the amount in the rollover for next month section. One thing to remember when moving money between paychecks or months is to use the category name for help. You can see if you need to write in a positive or negative amount by looking at the rollover category name and then use the colored background to know where to write. All the sections have a summary on the right, as well as graphs to help you visualize the breakdown of your data. On the top right of the tab, there is breakdown of the allocation of the income towards each type of transaction. In this case, I plan to allocate 46% of my income to paying bills. Now that we have completed those two tabs, click on the name of the spreadsheet on top and change it to monthly template. And that's it. You have created your monthly template. To start a new month, click on the top menu File and then Make a Copy. You will be prompted to write a new name, and you can choose, for example, May 2024 budget, and you're ready to go. To continue the tutorial, we are going to skip the Calendar tab and Variable Expenses tab for the moment and go straight to Paycheck 1 dashboard. In the Paycheck 1 tab, you will see that all of your categories and the goals budget have been automatically updated. The columns you need to fill in are the actual amount columns. Let's start with income. I write my paycheck and my partner's paycheck. I expected to get $250 from my side hustle, but I actually got $150. So I write it down in the actual column. I continue the same way for the other categories, and I see the summary on top and on the right side update with the new data. The recurring bills and recurring debt payoff work a little differently. You will see that the actual amounts are already filled in following the data from the budget. All you need to do here is click on a checkbox under the Paid column when you have paid the bills or debt payment. The bill will then turn gray when it is paid. And you can see in the top summary, $58 has been paid. In case of bills which do not have the same amounts every month, you can simply override the calculation in the actual column and write a different amount. The process is exactly the same for the debt payoff table. As we have many variable expenses in a month, there is a special tab for filling in data called variable expenses. In this tab, you can simply fill in the date and the category. Choose from which paycheck you would like to allocate money from, and write the actual amount you spent. You can also add a description if you need. You can double-click on the date cell to bring out a calendar for easy data entry. You can also copy and paste data from a CSV file or other spreadsheet by copying and pasting column by column. The only thing to be careful of is to make sure to click on Paste Value Only after pasting. To order your variable expenses data by date, click on the triangle next to the date title, then click on Sort A to Z. A window will pop up, but this time you can click OK because this won't cause any problem. On the top right of the Variable Expenses tab, You will find reminders on how much you still have available to allocate for each paycheck. This summary takes into account what you have already allocated in the paycheck dashboards. And finally, we can go back to the Paycheck 1 tab for the last section, the savings, and they function exactly like the income section. I can see in the top summary that I have $200 of unallocated income. I can move this money to Paycheck 2 thanks to the rollover to Paycheck 2 category. As written in the name, I will input a negative value, minus 200, as I am taking the money out of Paycheck 1 to give it to Paycheck 2. Once written, I can check my Paycheck 2 income section, and I see that the spreadsheet has indeed added $200 to Paycheck 2. Now that we have finished Paycheck 1 actual data, and we have paid some actual bills, let's check out the Bill Calendar tab. This calendar shows you your paycheck dates, as well as the bills and debt payoff due dates throughout the month. The bills are in pink and the debt in purple. If you would like to visualize an event or a task in the calendar, you have 10 more entries at the bottom. Simply write in the description, day number, and check the checkbox when the event or task has passed. Just underneath is a table where you can write extra pay dates, for example, paydays of your partner or a family member. Once a bill or debt is paid in the paycheck dashboards, it gets written off and becomes gray in the calendar. For example, I have just paid the rent from Paycheck 2. I can see it now turn gray in the calendar. On the right, you can see graphs to indicate how much more bills and debt need to be paid this month. There is also a summary listing all the dates from the calendar. The checkboxes cannot be clicked here. This section is just here to show you if the debts are paid or not. And that's it for the Bill Calendar tab. The Paycheck 2 and 3 tabs work exactly the same way as the Paycheck 1 tab we just filled in. The only difference is that you can move money to next month's paycheck from Paycheck 2 if you have 2 paychecks per month, or from Paycheck 3. If you would like an overview of your month, head over to your monthly dashboard tab. All of your actual data so far is all summarized for you to analyze your monthly finances. You do not need to write anything in this tab. It is just there to give you a useful bigger picture of your income and spending. The next month tab contains a step-by-step checklist on how to create next month's spreadsheet. Go back to your monthly budget spreadsheet and make a copy of it. In this case, it would be June 2024 budget. Set up new dates and paydays, and adjust due dates if necessary. Before you embark on your budgeting adventure, here are a few best practices to help you get the most out of your new spreadsheet. To get the best performance of your spreadsheet, please use Google Chrome as your browser. If you would like to change the size of a graph, because for example it is not showing the names of the categories properly, then double-click in the middle of the graph and use the right boxes to resize it. If you would like to see more of the spreadsheet, you can hide the Google Sheets information menu with this arrow. Full screen mode will allow you to see even more of the spreadsheet, and you can do this by pressing F11 on the PC and Ctrl plus Command plus F11 on a Mac. Pressing the same keys will exit full screen mode. If you delete an icon from the spreadsheet or can't find it, first download the spreadsheet again from the PDF, then right-click on the Categories tab, click on Copy to, and then Existing Spreadsheet. Select the spreadsheet missing the icon and click on Insert. You will now have a new Categories tab in your spreadsheet that you will find on the right of all tabs. From this tab, you can copy the previously deleted icon to your current Categories tab. Thank you so much again for purchasing this spreadsheet and supporting my store. If you enjoy using the spreadsheet as much as I loved creating it, please leave me a review on Etsy or my website lowstresslife.store. And in the meantime, happy budgeting!